Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which is going to be my October beauty roundup, where I'm going to be sharing all of my thoughts on everything new that I tried throughout the month of October. The good, the bad, the ugly and the unforgettable. So without further ado, let's get started. So kicking us off, I want to tell you about my brow lamination kit. I was talking about this over on my Instagram stories. I've been having my eyebrows laminated, I don't even know how long at this point, a few years I want to say, and it's been life-changing. So I've been having appointments at a beauty salon and getting them done every sort of 6 to 8 weeks for a couple of years. Then obviously I moved house, and I will say I haven't had them laminated for almost a year, and there's varying different reasons for that. I think the last couple of times I had it done, I feel like they didn't do a great job and they just weren't as laminated as I wanted them, and it didn't last very long. Then I had a holiday and you can't have them laminated right before a holiday. So then I moved, and it's been quite a long time since I had them done. But my eyebrows have been really annoying me recently. My eyebrows, my natural eyebrows, are so stubborn. No brow gel fully holds them. The best I've ever tried is the Rare Beauty, and it does a pretty decent job, but they have been getting more and more stubborn as they have been getting less and less laminated recently. So I've been seeing these at home do-it-yourself brow lamination kits. As you guys know, I've been struggling to find a hairdresser since I moved, and so I really do not have the energy left to find a new brow laminator as well. So I thought now's the time to see if I can do it myself. It was terrifying. I talked about how this had arrived on my Instagram stories, and I did not pluck up the courage for like a couple of weeks, I think, after it arrived to actually use it, because I was so scared. I don't know what I thought was going to happen. Maybe all of my eyebrows would fall off or they'd go curly. I don't know what I thought was going to happen. But I did finally pluck up the courage, and my life is changed. It went so well. I'm so happy with them. I haven't had to use brow gel since I did this, and they were perfect. So I'm very, very happy. And I did learn a few things during that first time, so it can only get better from here. So in this kit, it has basically, one is missing because that's just the oil that I keep on my bedside table just to oil them at night to keep them conditioned. So in the kit you get an adhesive, so you just use that. It's literally like a glue to glue your brows in place as to where you want to treat them, in the position that you want to treat them. Then you apply a lifting solution, wait sort of 10-ish minutes, wipe it off, and then you apply the setting solution, 10 minutes, wipe it off, and that's it. Perfectly laminated brows. So the kit is very simple, very easy to use, worked perfectly. So I will link it in the description box below, but I can now tell you, works like a charm. And now that's one less thing I need to leave the house for. Ideal, especially in winter. So next up, I have a couple of new fragrances to talk about, starting off with Dedcool's Mochi Milk. What a name. This was gifted to me. Oh, this scent is beautiful. I love Mochi, so I was very, very excited when I heard that there was going to be a fragrance that was going to smell as though I had a whole plate in front of me, which sadly I don't. So this is a brand new brand to me. I've never tried their fragrances before, so I really had no expectations. The notes in here, they sound right up my street. We've got marshmallow, we've got peach, we've got some milk. I do love lactonic fragrances, and this really has the most beautiful lactonic, cozy, sweet but not sickly, balanced scent profile. It's absolutely beautiful. The one drawback I would say about this is the performance is not as potent as I wish it was. The scent is beautiful, but it's not as long lasting, and it's not got the sillage I really wish it did. I sort of feel like I can smell it on myself when I've initially sprayed it, but it does fade very, very quickly, and it isn't just as strong as I like my fragrances to be. So that was a little bit sad, but the scent itself is beautiful. And if your skin doesn't eat fragrance for breakfast like mine does, you may get some better performance out of this than I have. So worth a try, because I think the scent is beautiful, but I need really, really strong potent fragrances, otherwise they are just gone in moments on me. And next up, the fragrance that I purchased myself this month. This is Maison Mataha's Café des Delices. It is stunning. I actually ordered a decant of this before I purchased the full bottle because I wasn't really sure. Bizarrely, ironically, given the name of this fragrance, I don't consider myself really a huge coffee note lover when it comes to fragrances. I do own a couple of coffee fragrances and sometimes I'm in the mood for them, but a lot of the time I don't love a strong coffee note. So the name of this one made me think that it's probably not going to be for me. So I decided to buy a decant and immediately knew it is for me. It is. Bizarrely, I don't get a lot of coffee in here. I know it claims to have a coffee note in the opening, but I really don't get coffee. I get more chocolate in the opening, and I don't love the chocolatey note that I get in the opening, but it does sort of fade quite quickly. And then you've got the biscuit vanilla tonka musk. I am a huge tonka fan. I love a musky base. I do love the vanilla in the middle, so the rest of it is beautiful. I don't hate the opening. It's just not coffee to me. Maybe you could say maybe it's like a macchiato as opposed to an espresso. There's just really a cocoa note to me in the opening, and it doesn't necessarily give me a lot of coffee, but this is stunning. I love it so much. I've barely worn another fragrance. It definitely falls into the gourmand category, but it's not sickly, it's not uber sweet, it's not cloying. It's a grown-up gourmand for people who aren't necessarily big gourmand fans. Oh, it's got this lovely sort of burnt sugar hint to it. Absolutely beautiful. So like creamy and warming and cozy. Perfect for these winter months. We have had some warmer days recently as well, so it has had an opportunity to sort of warm up on my skin, and it just never becomes too much, too overpowering, too overbearing, but it is very long lasting, and it has a beautiful sort of moderate sillage, so you've got a little bubble, you get little wafts of it throughout the day, but it's not filling a room, so it's not super loud and overpowering and obnoxious. It's, you know, probably, it's certainly in the winter quite office friendly, which again is quite unusual for a coffee fragrance, although that's not necessarily what I get, but that's quite unusual to be, you know, so sort of inoffensive and loud when it's this kind of gourmand coffee based fragrance. So a huge hit for me. It's going to be one of my most worn, if not my go-to most worn of all throughout the next few months. Absolutely, I've been obsessed with it, and the bottle, absolutely stunning. So if you've been put off because you don't want a huge heavy coffee note throughout the journey of the fragrance, I do think this is worth a try, certainly worth a decant, because I didn't either, and this is one of my all-time favourites. Okay, so moving on to the makeup. First of all, let's talk about Victoria Beckham's foundation. I had no interest in this. I spoke about this in a Will I Buy It, and I was like, I'm not buying it. I'm just not interested in it. I don't really like the packaging. I don't like this kind of skincare heavy serum-y foundation or drops foundations. The shade range isn't great, so I don't even know where I would start. It's very expensive for what it is. So I was out. I was not interested. It just didn't appeal to me whatsoever. But it clearly really appealed to you guys. I've never had so many messages and comments asking me to review something that I just wasn't interested in at all. So I decided I'm going to pick it up and let you guys know my thoughts and test it out for you. And I'm not a fan. I'm so sorry. I don't love this. I feel like a lot of people have found this to be glowier than I find it on my skin. I feel like it's okay. It definitely has more coverage than I think I thought it was going to, like lots of people have said. I think this is kind of advertised as being like sheer to light, and I think I get like a solid light medium, approaching the lighter end of medium coverage, so the coverage is fine. I do think it looks quite natural. It's just, there's just nothing that sort of wows me about it. I've really tried to like it because I know some people have been loving it, so I've really wanted to find what it is that everybody else is liking about it, but I can't. Okay, I cannot find it. She's lost. So it's okay. I don't think for the price it's that exciting. I think it's an okay foundation. It doesn't wear especially well. I don't find it especially flattering. I actually don't like the texture of it. It is that sort of serum-y, slightly odd feel. It's not creasy. It's almost a bit I don't want to say slimy. That doesn't feel right, but there's just something off that I don't like about the texture. It just feels a little off to me. I just have never really got along well with very many serum foundations, and this is no exception. I just don't love anything about it. The other thing is the smell. Unfortunately to me, the scent of this foundation is very much aftershock. And if, like myself, you've had more than one terrible experience with aftershock, that's not a good thing, okay? I don't want to be reminded of that when I'm getting ready in the morning and doing my makeup. Do I want to suddenly get a potent waft of aftershock on a Sunday? No, I don't. Thank you very much. So this was a miss for me. It's not terrible. There's just nothing great about it. And for £100, buy the Tom Ford one, okay? Next up, let's talk about these new Patrick Tar Duo eyeshadows. So these are new shades as opposed to a new formula altogether. I love these so much. I liked the first few shades that he released, but these I think I like even more. I'm so pleasantly surprised by this one. This is Slow Burn. I wasn't going to get this, and then I started seeing swatches and just I needed to have it. It's so much more wearable. I thought that this darker shade was going to be much more berry than it is, but much more wearable. I really like these. They're just so twinkly, and they don't catch fire. So sorry. They catch the light so beautifully. They're so reflective. And again, this shade, which is always on your mind, such a perfect like New Year's-y shade. And then when the sun sets, I feel like I'm going to love this one in summer because it's that sort of rose gold, sort of peachy shade. And I think there's a lot of lovely one and done shades in here as well that you don't have to use both of them. You can just use one and they're an absolute delight. So I was definitely not disappointed. I've heard that he might have slightly tweaked the formula of these, but I wasn't disappointed. I love them. I love the originals, and these shades are just so pretty and wearable. Oh, I just realized I forgot a skincare item. This is the Shiseido Vital Protection Uplifting and Firming Advanced Eye Cream, and I need to tell you, I forgot to bring it in because it's in my bathroom, but it comes with a little tiny little tool to like massage the cream in and awaken the eyeball area. Is it bougie and a little unnecessary? Sure. Do I use that as though I'm in an expensive spa? Although I will say, if I was in an expensive spa, I would have thought someone would be doing that for me. But nevertheless, it's a delight and a treat. And the eye cream itself has become my go-to nighttime eye cream. I don't have time for tools in the morning, but at night, give me all the tools and I will have a delightful self-caring time in my bathroom. And it's just so rich and hydrating. It feels amazing. I feel like my eye area in the morning still feels hydrated from the evening before. And if you do have time in the morning, that little tool is going to be very depuffing and just lovely and hydrating and brightening. If you really wanted to go nuts, which why wouldn't you, I would put it in the fridge. Imagine that. Ice cold. The depuffing, oh, delightful. Next up, I would like to talk about, if it's okay with you, you have no choice, I can't hear you. Let's talk about Dior Holiday, because this is a whooper of a collection, something for everybody, and it's a bit of a mixed bag, if I do say so myself. First of all, probably one of, if not the most disappointing moments of my makeup year. It's these double-ended lipsticks, and that's not to say they're terrible, but I was beside myself with the expectation of these. I thought these were going to be like the Chanel Duo Tenue lipsticks, but with some sparkle in, and I was so excited for them, and I feel we're so close to something life-changing, but we've just gone past go and haven't collected £200. ugh. The couple of things I don't love about these are that if you use them fully as intended with the lipstick and the gloss over the top, one, you do lose the twinkle and the sparkle that is the whole purpose of them, and two, you lose the transfer proof ability of them. So if you're going to put the gloss over the top, they then just become a pretty bog standard lip gloss. So that's sad. Also, the liquid lipstick itself without the gloss is amazing, but very, very sparkly. So that's something that, again, I wouldn't really use on a very regular basis. So it just didn't, for me personally, quite work in the way I was hoping it to. And so I really can't see myself using them very much. I love the packaging. There's so much promise. The execution just slightly missed the mark for me, and it's really sad. But thank goodness we still have the Chanel. So the rest of the Dior holiday that I picked up, I'm so happy with. The highlighter really surprised me. I thought this was going to be, I don't know what I thought, just maybe too much, too metallic. It's actually quite subtle and smooth and pretty. I feel like there's a lot of glitter on my hand from the Patrick Tar duos, but it's not coming from the highlighter. So if you see that, just know it's not all the sparkle and glitter isn't coming from this highlighter. It just blends so beautifully. And I love that we've got this really gorgeous, bougie, Christmassy, festive, pretty packaging, but the product itself is everyday friendly and everyday understated wearable, because a lot of the time, you know, we get at Christmas things like this with everything's got sparkle and glitter and everything's red lips, and it can be used, and we'll use it a lot over the next, you know, couple of months up to Christmas, New Year's, and then it'll become, you know, too much for January, you know, or for me at least personally, I'm saying. And that is something that's really pretty and special feeling, but wearable all year round without being too much. Similarly, this blush, this is Starry Mauve, and oh my goodness, I am absolutely in love with this blush. It's so pretty. The finish is just gorgeous, absolutely beautiful bit of luminosity, not sparkly or glittery. It's just a perfect wintry cheek, this sort of wearable berry. Absolutely gorgeous, one of like my most used blushes currently. And then the lipstick shade that I picked up, this is the shade Circus, and it's a satin. Again, has become one of my most used, most worn lipsticks at the moment. This is just living in my handbag. It's so wearable. It's a bit peachy, it's a peachy nude. Again, gorgeous embossing and print for the holiday season, but a very, very wearable colour that isn't glittery and sparkly or doesn't have to be a red. It's just a beautiful wearable shade in a gorgeous component, beautifully presented, but something that I can wear all year round. And again, it's a lovely formula, very, very wearable, flattering shade for me, and I've been absolutely loving everything but the duo lipsticks, which was the thing I had the most hope for. Can't all be wins all of the time, I suppose. Next up, let's talk about this Valentino blush. So these have appeared back at Selfridges, I think, but I think this shade is still not there. This is shade 134R, and for some reason, it came like for one day and then it sold out very, very quickly, and it hasn't come back. And then there are now new shades on Selfridges, but I still haven't seen this one. So the shade name of this one is Couture in the Street. And like I said, I purchased it back in September, and then it went out of stock and just has never been seen since. So I don't know what's going on, but it is a beautiful blush, got a gorgeous natural glowy finish. So it's not over the top, it's not shimmery or sparkly, it's just got a bit of luminosity to it. Really pretty, perfectly wearable, everyday sort of neutral peachy leaning shade. Love it, love the packaging, have been getting a lot of use out of it. It feels nice and weighty, and again, it's something that's sort of festive because of the packaging, but a very wearable, usable product at the same time. I really hope it comes back because I don't really know what happened. Next up, let's talk about this little Chanel quad that I have been very excited to get my greedy little mitts on. This is Nuit Astrale. So this is the quad that I was talking about in my Will I Buy It, that I was going to break my refusal to purchase Chanel eyeshadows rule, because as you guys will know, if you're not new, me and Chanel eyeshadows, we're just not meant to be friends. I will say the same about Dior eyeshadows and most Tom Ford eyeshadows also. Those sort of luxury brand, for the most part, eyeshadow brands just don't quite give me what I need. I want something really over the top, impactful shimmers and pigment, and all of those brands tend to be a little too quiet, a little too soft, a little too understated for me, and always just made me feel a bit like underwhelmed, and it's a little lackluster. The colour story of this was tempting me to give Chanel one last try, and I'm really glad I did, because by far this is my favourite eyeshadow quad from Chanel that I have ever tried. I feel like it's got more pigment than Chanel shadows typically do, and I just think there's something special about this colour story. I feel it reminds me of my Natasha Denona 5 pan that I was obsessed with for so long, that was discontinued a long time ago. It's got that same sort of smoky grey silver blues that don't need, but I feel like the colour story works in this quieter formula from Chanel, because the colour story sort of speaks for itself. And yes, it's something different, it's not neutrals, but it's somehow so wearable because of the smokiness of the shadows. And I do think these are more impactful and intense and pigmented than Chanel's typical standard eyeshadows are for me, but there's just something about this colour combination that it doesn't need to be over the top to give you the impact and the wow factor, because the colours are so beautiful. So without question, this is my all-time favourite eyeshadow quad that I have ever tried from Chanel. I've been loving it. I actually used this on my daughter for Halloween because she was being a vampire, and it just looks so pretty on her as well. You know, I've been wearing it and I used it on her quite lightly and just gave her a little wash or something, and it was so sort of ethereal and pretty, and it's just really stands out, and it's kind of unique and special. And I never thought I would say this about a Chanel quad, because usually they let me down. Not this time. Something that has let me down, and I still feel sad about now, is this Guerlain Rosy Glow highlighter. The promo photos of this made it look so exciting, and it's just not as exciting in reality to me. So this is how it looks. You just don't get that sort of ombre effect that you see in the promo photos. And then the product itself is just so glittery and chunky. You can actually feel the texture when you swatch it, which is not a good sign. I will say, yes, it is very sparkly and twinkly, and you can definitely see visible shimmer and sparkle in the swatch. I will say that in spite of myself, because that's not typically something I go for, I do like this a lot more on the cheeks than I thought I would when I first saw the product and swatched it, because it does look so sparkly. But somehow on the cheeks, when I blend it in a bit, it does look super pretty. It's not going to be one of my all-time favorites. I do prefer something more understated and more luminous as opposed to shimmering, but it is very pretty and it does look gorgeous on the cheeks. So it's kind of a tale of two halves. I kind of wish this had looked more like the promo photos and we'd got that sort of almost that gradient from lighter into peachiness that we all thought we were getting from the promo photos. I feel like that's quite misleading. I can't see any colour change in here whatsoever. It just looks a very frosted pink. In the mirror somehow it slightly looks peachy, but in person it doesn't. I wish we'd got something more along those lines and that would have been much more exciting, but it does look pretty on the cheeks, I will give it that. Next up, I've had a couple of new concealers to try this month. First of all, the Shiseido. This is their stick concealer. Is this a reformulation? I think it might be. I don't love this. I feel I don't really love stick products, a stick concealer. I do see the benefit of being able to pop it into your handbag for touch-ups and things like that throughout the day, but I just don't really do my makeup like that. I do mine in the morning, and then whatever happens, happens, and it's none of my concern. So that's not really how I, you know, would use concealer. I don't love this. It's okay under the eyes. I don't really feel like it gives me enough coverage. It does crease a little throughout the day. It's just also the product itself is very, very small, so I feel like I'm colouring in my under eye rather than just like I can with a doe foot. So I don't love it. It was okay, not terrible, but nothing that I feel like you should run out and buy. The other concealer that I was gifted the Shiseido, and I was also gifted this one from It Cosmetics, which I think is a very nice concealer. So this comes, instead of a doe foot, it's like a sponge tip. So some people are going to feel a type of way about that. It's a little like the Charlotte Tilbury, you know, wands. It's a similar product to that, but a little firmer. So you twist the product up and then apply. I will say the shade that I got is wrong. It's a little too deep for me, but I think this is a great concealer. Really nice amount of coverage, blends really nicely. It only creases a tiny bit throughout the day, nothing bad at all. Wears nicely, feels nice and hydrating under the eyes. It's not going to challenge my top few concealers just because of the texture. I don't like that sort of sponge. I'd rather a doe foot. But as far as the coverage and how it wears throughout the day, it's very, very nice. It's also a more radiant finish, and I do prefer something a bit more matte, but this is a very solid concealer, and if you do prefer something a bit more radiant, definitely worth a try because it does look beautiful. It covers very, very well, and it wears really nicely as well. So I was very pleasantly surprised about that one. I didn't have high hopes, but I was, like I said, pleasantly surprised. Next up, let's talk about Rephr's holiday brush. I almost didn't include this at all because I think it has already gone, but I do think with Rephr they do listen. Okay, so we should all be screaming for more of these brushes because this is outstanding. I love this so much. I used this to apply my Hermes blush in my video my previous Hermes Rockabye blush review to show you, and I love this brush for those type of products. Like Hourglass blush is something that is really glowy. It's certainly something that you need to swirl together a bit like that Hermes blush because it's so light and airy, and it does a perfect job at picking up product in a light blendable way and then laying it down in a really diffused way as well. But I also love this for bronzer because, again, I'm very heavy-handed a lot of the time, particularly with bronzer, and this just really applies in such a light, airy, diffused way that you takes no effort to blend and to build, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I love those natural wood elements in brush handles, and this angle, you know, it's so versatile. You can use it for bronzer, blush, highlighter, contour, certainly for powder also. So I think it's an amazing, beautiful job. Probably my favorite ever brush from Rephr. Please bring her back. Next up, let's talk about Natasha Denona's pouch, My Dream pouch. So this was, I did a review of this little pouch, this little gift set. It comes in a makeup bag, which my daughter has already acquired, and it contains a lipstick, lip liner, mini eyeshadow trio, and blush duo. So I said in the review, and I have tried the lipstick since, I don't think the lipstick is for me. The lip liner is not new, but the lipstick is her My Dream shade, but with a metallic finish, and it really does pull very grey on me, on my skin tone, so I think it's stunning. It looks so beautiful. It has that sort of sparkling coating on the actual bullet, but that isn't on the product. It's so beautiful, so pretty, but the shade itself just doesn't quite work for me. It's not, I think when you look at the shade here, you think, well, what's wrong with it? It's a pretty standard sort of peachy nude. The problem is, because of the metallic finish, is that the shift, can you see that, makes it very, very light. I think it's the, like the pearl in there or whatever it is that makes it metallic. is very, very light. So it looks all right in some lights and from some angles, but in others, it looks straight grey on me. So that doesn't really work. I think the eyeshadow trio is fine, not particularly exciting. It will give you a sort of everyday nice look, but if you have a lot of eyeshadow, do you need it? I wouldn't have thought so. The standout for me is the mini cheek duo. You can see it's quite messy because I've been loving it. I think the highlighter is stunning, very intense, but as I used it in my review, quite easy to sort of blend with the blush, and then you just get this gorgeous everyday mauvey glossy cheek, which I've been really enjoying and perfect for travel also. So I think this is a great little set. Probably if you're a bit fairer than me, you would like it even more, but ideal for travel, ideal for getting a few little mini products in one. And if you really want the little makeup pouch as well, it's actually a great deal. I talked about in my review about how I do not believe the value that has been put onto this product, because they are counting the pouch as being worth like £40 or something, which I don't think it is. But I do think it's a nice little selection of products, especially if you don't have a lot of Natasha Denona and you want to try a good few bits from the brand. But I do think it's mostly suited to a fair to light skin tone. Next up, let's talk about Lisa Eldridge's holiday collection. I love everything Lisa Eldridge does, to be honest. I feel like it's very in a similar way to like Charlotte Tilbury. I feel that it's a brand that it just suits me, my preferences, what I enjoy. And I just always love 99.9% of everything that I try. And this collection is no exception. I think these liquid eyeshadows are so pretty. As I said in my review, I don't think I will wear the deeper shade Celine very much by itself. It's definitely a little darker than I typically wear, but as I sort of teamed it up with the lighter shade, which is called Rosy in the review, I love it like that. So pretty, but it is a bit darker than I typically wear for like a standalone single eyeshadow. So that shade I don't think I'll get a lot of use out of, but already I've been wearing Rosy like non-stop. So pretty and soft and just lovely. The red lipstick, again, not really a shade that I wear very often, red lipstick, but Dreamy Damask. Oh, she really is a dream. I'm so glad I picked this shade up, because I saw this when Lisa announced her holiday collection and thought, that's just not for me. I don't really wear shades like this. I think it's a bit light. This is such a stunning Your Lips But Better shade. It's so pretty. As with all of Lisa's shades, there's something quite unique and different about it. And again, it's barely left my lips since I picked it up. As far as the glosses, do you know, these really surprised me, especially the Chameleon Chaos shade. I did not expect to get much use out of these because they look so sparkly and like colour shifting and twinkly and just too much for how I typically do my makeup. You know, this looks way too exciting for me, you know? Look at it, stunning. But in reality, it's so much more wearable than I thought. And this shade particularly is like a gorgeous everyday gloss for me now. They feel delightful. Again, I think I thought they would feel quite gritty and grainy on the lips. I can't detect anything at all. They feel delightful and smooth on the lips. So beautiful. And again, I think more so in spring and summer, I'm going to live in this gloss, because that is like the ultimate spring, summer peachy gloss to me. Just stunning. Such a beautiful collection. And again, what I really love about it is, although she's sort of made everything look quite festive and sparkly, especially like with the glosses, it's all still super wearable year round. There's nothing that, you know, you couldn't wear come January without everyone being like, Christmas is last year, okay, move on. I think brands are finally getting the memo that we want to wear our Christmas collections year round, okay? Please throw everything at the packaging and the presentation and the embossing to make it feel festive, but make the products themselves every day, every season wearable. They've got the memo and we love to see it. And now finally, we come to Danessa Myricks Lightwork 7, the palette I have on my peepers as we speak, and one of the loves of my life, okay? This has been an instant love affair. I've barely worn another eyeshadow palette since the day she popped through my letterbox. I am absolutely head over heels in love with this palette. I love it so much. The mattes are so blendable and beautiful and pigmented, but soft to blend and build. Also, there's the perfect range of mattes and transitional shades that if I want to go a bit warmer or cooler or a bit more neutral, a bit lighter or a bit smokier, I've got an option for that. And then the shimmers are just ridiculously beautiful. You know, I'm obviously very much drawn to mostly use this middle section because it's just, for a start, this is ridiculously beautiful. I am at a loss for words and it's very hard to leave that shadow alone, I'll say that. But you know, I just am having so much fun playing with it. As I said in my review, what I really love about this kind of palette is you've got some safe zone, comfort zone, my little box, what I'm used to shades in here. You've got the mattes, you've got some neutral shimmers, you've got some like less colourful, intimidating shimmers, but you've also got some real fun out there shades. So it allows me to play when I'm feeling fun, when I'm going somewhere where I don't mind being super colourful and really over the top with my eyeshadow. If I'm just filming or I'm going out, you know, something like a party or something like that, I've got options to play and have fun with, but I've also got enough shadows in here I know I'll use day to day, every day of the week to make it worth it. There's nothing in here I wouldn't use, maybe the black, but I could still even use that for liner and things like that. So even the black, which I would never use probably on my eyes as eyeshadow, still has a function. Everything else I just think is stunning. The formulas are ridiculously beautiful, incredible impact, really minimal fallout for such impactful shimmers. Buttery, creamy, easy to apply, easy to blend, over the top intensity of like hasn't been seen since 3 years ago from Pat McGrath. This really saved Christmas for me because, you know, Pat McGrath's motherships the last couple of years have become a little disappointing because we're not getting special shades. So that's a little sad for those of us who live for those special shades. Now, I don't need to be sad anymore because this tickles that pickle and it hits that spot of over-the-top eyeshadow that's so impactful and intense but easy to use and flattering. I couldn't have asked for more, to be honest. One negative which I spoke about in my review is I do wish that the lid was attached and had a larger mirror, because I do have to sort of take this off and put it over there and use another mirror to apply it. So for the way I do makeup, that's my one negative, my one con from this palette, but the palette itself is out of this world. I'm head over heels. One of, if not my palette of the year. And so there you have it. Those are all of my thoughts on everything new that I tried in the month of October. Please let me know all of your thoughts on these new products. Did you pick any of these up? Have you tried them? Are you passing? What did your October beauty month look like? Please let me know all of your hits and misses in the comment section down below. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.